I think my desktop should be visible to all of you guys. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, please.
We see your screen, huh? Just, but not the presentation.
Yeah, that's fine. So, okay. Nice to meet you again. So this is my third or fourth meeting, official meeting, attending the activities related with Littlefish Foundation. And almost after every meeting, we are also having a personal chat with Jam and discussing about some other stuff related around Littlefish Foundation related things. And I had some question marks in my mind while I was listening every discussion almost about Littlefish Foundation, and also after reading the documentation I have provided for the ADANET for ADA. And I've shared all of these question marks. I've asked all of these to Jam, and we were discussing about the solution. And I would like to thank to him because he gave me this opportunity to provide the question mark and a possible solution in my mind about maybe about a future of the Littlefish Foundation. For sure, it's not written to stone and just a discussion starter. You may just think about it like that. So as a start, I want to give two different stories about two different topics. Then at the end, I will try to combine two ideas into a single one. These parts are necessary to provide you the problem I see in my mind. So since the first meeting about Littlefish Foundation, all discussions are basically main on making a better world. So for the climate and for making world is a better place, and using blockchain, smart contracts, other network for such an opportunity. So even we didn't have the blockchain stuff. So we all know the trees are good and we all need to plant trees. We are teaching this to our kids, but sorry to say that at least in Turkey, I'm not seeing that much people planting trees around. The problem might be it's an obligation. It's a must-do item taught by our families, parents, teachers, schools, but it's not cool. This might be one of the reasons. I mean, it's not enjoying. It's not. Yeah, we all know that it's cool. It's necessary. I think we are all aware that the trees are necessary, but it's never, at least for Turkey, this country I'm living in, it's not a popular activity which families and children go at weekends and do all together. But imagine a world if the trees are giving Wi-Fi signals. So this is kind of a hype example about this problem. But if there was a tree type which was providing Wi-Fi signals, I think it would be amazing because everyone would be planting trees around. So when we already know that trees are necessary to get oxygen. On the other hand, we may do it only if we can get other type of cool thing out of this activity. So this brings us to the problem about Littlefish Foundation as a sustainability. So yeah, we all know that the main idea, the target is cool, it's good, but I personally don't think that it would be getting enough attention from many people. For example, we may like to do great things, but a poker game may get better points, better scores than us. So such things may happen, for example. So, for example, this is another example. For example, if we were telling people, okay, I want you to let me know regularly your location, what you like, who are you with, who is with you at the moment, what did you eat? I'm sure no one would be giving this information to us freely. On the other hand, then what the hell is this? I mean, yeah, we all know that these are private information. These are sensitive information which we will never want to provide to anyone. On the other hand, when something is produced and providing this information cool with a gamified methodology, everyone would be eager to do that. So after the sustainability, this brings us to another keyword, which I may name as gamification. So in order to make something sustainable from some perspective, it also needs to be cool. It needs to be hype, and it's if and only if then only after that it may be a sustainable thing. Even you are trying to build a blockchain-based technology, or even it's an app or a startup, I think it will never matter. This was the first part of my story. Then I need to go to another part. So after this one, so you don't see any texts here. After this slide, you'll be seeing this graph with some different texts around. You'll be seeing exactly the same graph again and again with different variations. So if we go back to the main aim of Littlefish Foundation, so we want to provide help and we want to fund activists and climate changers and the good people around from our perspective. So for a person who needs to get some loan or some donation or any support from from anyone, would need to go to a constitution. It could be a bank, it could be United Nations or Greenpeace or whatever. So a person first gets, for example, a person may get a loan from an institution, then somehow it provides it back. Sometimes it provides it with an interest rate or without an interest rate, or maybe it just provides a thing. But somehow there is always risk. There is always a part which that person receives something, then pays something back. So we may just name it as getting an X and providing Y back. It was like this before. Today, now we are not talking about institutions that much, but the new model is making a collaboration between this person, not with an institution, but a group of people, with a community. And I'll be listing three different models for three different use cases. The first one, which is the best known for Littlefish Foundation, I think the Kiva model. So you just need to get a loan. You don't go to an institution or a local bank. You ask your cause, you enter your cause somewhere, and you get a loan from bulk number of people at once, then you pay it back. This is the Kiva model, as you know. Another model is change.org. In change.org model, this time, everything is same. Of course, there are some small changes about the process, how the money is received and how it's paid back, or if it's paid back or not. But this time, in Kiva model, it was a loan, but this time it's named as donation or support. So again, you need to get something from somewhere. And this time, again, like Kiva, you get some donations from multiple people or from a community which supports your cause. The third one might be a bit more interesting than Change.org or Kiva, but it's Kickstarter. So for Kickstarter, again, exactly the same graph, only some texts are changing. On this scenario, you again get something. This time we may name it as a purchase. But this time you pay back some benefits. So for example, if you are producing a product, you may provide an early adopter version or with a discount, or you may just thank you to these people. As you can see, the problem in basis, all of these three are doing exactly the same thing. And I'm sure we can find even a couple of more different companies, well-known companies, or organizations which does almost the same thing. A person gets X, then pays or provides Y back to the community in a different name, and for sure with some sub processes in the background. So for the future, just by using these three models are very similar. My proposal will be making Littlefish Foundation and the main product as an ultimately generic and open source DAO framework to handle loan, donation, supports, and such transaction by using blockchain technology. I mean, not limiting ourselves to Kiva model, but being an industry standard, blockchain-based industry standard for all these type of transactions. For example, if there's an X person who needs something, and if there's a community, let's name it Y. If there's a transaction between X and Y, I think it might be a great opportunity to be the standard for defining how such a community-based donation or loan or support or purchase transaction might be. And for sure, as it's designed in the basis of Littlefish Foundation documentation, for sure the activists might be the first POC, especially the activists for the climate change. Yeah, I have one more slide which might be shown at the end of the meeting, but this is basically the basis of my proposal. Thanks for listening. If you have any questions, I may try to do my best to answer them.
Thank you very much, Emre. Really good presentation, by the way. Yeah, I think what I took from this presentation mostly, there are different ways of supporting. First of all, we have to identify all these things, and we need to decide, I think, whether we are going to support, whether we are going to provide all of these standards, or if we are not interested in, we just focus one way. But I think personally, I believe working on all these different types of support will be beneficial, but we have to have a clear identification. For example, what's the difference between loan and purchase, basically? Why people would be interested in doing such different things? To me, I understand that purchase is a kind of win-win relation, but when you provide loan to someone, you just take your money back and you feel good that you have done good support to someone else. But when it comes to donation, for example, donation is just giving away, right? You are not expecting something in return, but at the same time, maybe you do advertisement of your business. As a business owner, you will be shown there that you are supporting a type of action there. So I think we have to make a clear definitions and what would be the advantage for the users, I think, in that regard. That's what I took from your presentation. First of all.
Thank you very much for your comments. So basically, you are right. All of those entities should be defined in detail, and the entities should be decided. But if we may provide the good and free discussion environments into the community, I'm sure the types of all of those entities will be decided there. So if we can create a great community around it. On the other hand, for every type of entity, for every type of transaction, I'm sure every transaction type will need its own discipline, like from the law perspective, from the tax perspective, from the marketing perspective, PR or marketing perspective. With correct people, all of these might also be solved with more niche, more focused subgroups based on for each entity and every transaction individually. Here, my point is not limiting ourselves to a specific type of transaction like the Kivas example, because I saw it in a couple of places. Because in order to create a sustainable system, I'm sure we will also need some gamification elements, some motivational elements, also from the change.org area, and even some elements from Kickstarter. So if the basis is generic, if the main idea is there, all of those transactional entity types will just be details, which is for sure very critical, but needs to be focused one by one.
So I understand that flexibility is an important fact here, that we should allow different users different options. But what comes to my mind is, I think, when we consider adoption, we should consider ease of usability and ease of understanding concepts. I feel a kind of like all these examples pick up only one option. Maybe it is just easy change, or you want to change something and then you get support. It's not a loan. You just get donation from someone else, right? So we should make it really easy for understanding all of these people out there. Because when we bring blockchain, already it's complicated. It is not that easy. And people have already question marks. Not everyone has the, cryptocurrencies, and holding wallets difficult to manage somehow. So we should consider all these things. It just came to my mind.
You are 100% right from the usability perspective, but I think it might be a bit early, because as far as I know, we haven't started to discuss about the websites, the interfaces, the apps, the integration points, etc. Here, if we may focus on the main idea, so how a person can send money to another person. We have a standard for that, thanks to Bitcoin. So how we can run a code on multiple devices publicly, thanks to smart contracts, thanks to Ethereum, thanks to other. How we can make a one person to community, how we can create any type of transaction between a person and a community with some sub elements, if it's a donation or a loan, etc. I don't know a name. Maybe there's a name, I don't know. But there are some questions which, and some of them are already answered. All of us more or less have the same answers, I think. But for this type, so here we are talking about some donation type of mechanism around Littlefish, and I don't know an industry standard about it. I think it's a good opportunity to start from that point, instead of just focusing on how Kiva is working, for example.
Yeah. And we can do Littlefish as a framework, so everyone can use it to
Open source framework.
Other, green pieces and other red crosses.
Yeah.
So it might even be it may even be an opportunity to provide this open source framework, let's say to Kiva. Then they can develop their new version on top of this. I don't know how it would work. I don't know the licensing thing. I don't know the benefits. But if there's a cause to make it happen, even this might be an option. I'm just trying to say we may just keep our minds as free as that.
Yeah, if I may. So thank you for the presentation, first of all, and the thought, and it's a good discussion. I think we need to split between the technology framework and what we want to achieve, right? I mean, I understand that once you build the technology, it can be served for so many different things. as a framework, and it can be served for Kiva and can be served for change and for a lot of the technology base. But so I mean, it's the definition if we want to be a technology provider or a SaaS provider, or if we want to build a community like Kiva, which I mean, like Kiva is still it's $1 billion donations a year, right? I mean, if we get to $1 billion loans a year, I mean, it's not a bad place to be, right? First of all, to get to that level, and then see how you diversify. I think focus is very important. So either you focus on a platform that you can then, as a SaaS platform, either you focus on a cause, which this is what we focused on. And in my view, again, focus is very important in one of them. I mean, and build a community around it, build a process of donation, verification, transparency. You know, the key is, I mean, what we wanted to change in the beginning, I mean, the passion of GEM was to change the transparency and traceability of the money going to the ground, right? Because there's no transparency and traceability today, and reduce the cost of money going to the ground to support different projects. And the project we support can be entrepreneurs, or it can be donation. That's no problem, but that's kind of the leading direction. And I think if we start being a SaaS that we can offer, sell it as a SaaS, we lose the community, right? We become a SaaS provider. I don't know, that's my 2 cents. So, I mean, I think focusing on a cause is very important now to bring people around that and to bring the community around that. And then when it's done, maybe you can open the platform and give it to other organizations. That's a great idea. But first we need to build a platform, which is not that easy because a lot of the things are not available. If we saw the DAO structure, a lot of things still need to be, as Nori said today, there's no DAO yet in Cardano, right?
Yeah.
So, and I think if we, and the last sentence for me, I mean, you know, when we start a project and technology project, and I think all of us know it, I mean, there's so many things you can do, right? But it's tough to do all of them. And I think more we focus to start, more easy it will be. That's my view. And then we'll see how we complicate it later. That's my 2 cents, but happy to hear everyone.
Yoram, if I want to answer your comments. First of all, thank you very much. This was a great feedback, and I 100% agree. And I also think that this focus thing is even more important than technology. So I am 42 years old, spent many times in different projects, and I can't be more agree than this, believe it or not. But at this point, you're also right. There is a separation between the focus, the business, and the technology used in the background of this. Here, my point is, during the development of this technology, if we have a long-term vision of not being only the Kiva, how the code would be developed, how the code will be developing will be different.
Yeah.
If the code, if we just focus on Kiva, believe me or not, the implemented thing, the technology part will not be reusable for any other cause or for any other thing without huge dramatic changes. On the other hand, because here I'm trying to mention about a generic system, whatever is decided as the focus point, there will be no change about it. That thing can still be our focus. The managing and creating a great community around it, doing public relation activities, marketing activities. These are all same, fine, but only by changing some spice about how the meetings are done, how the technology is developed, may create some other great opportunities for the future to do necessary pivots, not by starting from scratch. and it would be giving a great flexibility to all of us. This was my point.
Let me tell you also a story. Yeah, and I'm then open it to everyone after. But first of all, I think there will be hundreds of billions of dollars that will go into or aim to go into sustainability projects in the next years. I mean, it's huge. The market is huge, or what needed is huge, right? And we want to give the transparency that the money will go to the right place. This is one. But let me tell you a story. I had a startup some 10 years ago, a virtual reality startup, and I did an application in iOS. And Intel wanted the application, and they say, okay, I want it now also on Android, right? One application, and they say, great, and they paid $50,000. I don't remember how much it was, okay? And I did it for them. This was the biggest mistake I could have done, okay? To actually do it also on Android, because as you know, as a developer, then I needed to do everything in 2 different platforms, and I was a young startup with not a lot of money. And it just complicated. I had 2 developers, and and it went on like this. So it was actually so what I'm saying is that, I think in this stage, especially when we start, it's very important that we all agree on that we discuss. I mean, that we agree on the vision, mission, and really focus to get it big, because that can be big enough. I mean, if we can build Kiva, it already will be huge, right? I mean, that's my small point. Comparing to building a platform, which can also be huge, but then you sell the platform to different organizations, which also can be huge. And maybe after we build a successful platform, then we can say, okay, we split it now, and we try to offer part of it, offer it as a SaaS solution for Greenpeace, for WWF, for everyone. That's my 2 cents. But again, I mean, everything can happen, and so I don't know. And I think especially the technology that is not ready yet, there's still a lot to go with the technology. So I don't know. My feeling is that the community is the key, and to start with. But yeah, again, that's my feeling. But I'm happy to hear everyone. I mean, and then, it's a collaborative work, but understand what you say. I'm just saying it's not always that easy to, there's a difference between a platform to a product, right? For example, a SaaS platform or a specific product. So what's better? I don't know, but anyway, that's my 2 cents. But yeah,
I also agree that the community will be the main product of this thing. So I also agree about it.
That's me, Simon. What do you think, sir?
Yes, I think it's a good point. Like, we should probably focus on one thing first, but we can also, I think, keep in mind that maybe later on we want to open it up to other possibilities. I think this is my first time here in the Littlefish meetup, so I'm not sure, but I think we don't have an architecture yet, right?
No.
Yeah,
so we have our ideas.
So we should just keep an open mind for that in the architecture, in my opinion, but still design for one thing for now. And yeah, maybe we change our thinking about that in the process. But yeah, that's my thoughts.
Welcome, Matt.
Yeah.
Oh, hi. How are you?
Yeah, Sebastian is raising hand. Yes, Sebastian. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. So basically what I was going to say is that whenever you are starting something new, whether it be a centralized application or even an NGO, the most important thing is to focus on a test case that can be a showcase as a success story for basically the public. And at that stage, it is not so important to think about something that's scalable or that's going to be replicated like that precisely in the future. perhaps the best thing is to focus on something small that can be very clear, cut if it's going to be a success or failure. And whether this model is going to scale later, that's a question that is more for like a second and a third stage, because at the beginning, what you need to do is build up credibility. So perhaps at the start, the one thing everyone should focus in a particular case, that would be the showcase. And if that precise model doesn't scale for when the platform is complete with all of these features, that's not such an issue, because at the start, we just need some sort of test or validation.
Yeah.
And yeah, I agree. Starting small is a good way, because we may find something halfway through that makes us go, oh, this model is even better, and we need to pivot, and we don't have a huge investment upfront building for something that we never get to. I come from agile software development background, and that's one of the biggest things to unlearn for my teams is how do you not come up with this grand vision and build for it, and how do you iteratively develop things and get that fast feedback loop and be able to develop. But I guess my main point that I wanted to just explore is a lot of the Littlefish goals can all be done manually in the start. So shouldn't we start with the social aspects and the governance aspects and the decision making, and people can be moving funds around by wallets or executing these transactions to move money around by hand if needed to start with, because the blockchain's transparent, we'll see what's happening. And then based on the usage patterns and all those, we can discover where do we need to automate, where are the friction points, where's the pain points, and start to automate the stuff that will actually help us move faster with our goal. And I'd love to keep the focus on the goal, which is to help these people on the ground or get money out to where it's needed, and less on the technology at first, and make sure we're doing the right things. And then once that pattern is set, then start looking at ways of automating or writing the frameworks and the tooling around that. Just my 2 cents.
Yeah. Thank you, Hemre, for the presentation. I think it was a great perspective on what we can expect, maybe what our vision may be in the very long term. And most of what I've heard from everyone today, I don't think any of them are mutually exclusive. So in the short term, I think we want to have focus, as most of us have agreed. But in the long term, I mean, keeping in mind a general broad vision, I think is very good for us. Especially when we're at the stage when we're developing the tools, if you have that general perspective that this can be used in a more general sense and not in just an Akiba model, not in just a change.org model. If we keep that in mind, if we maybe imply that within the community at this point, it might be a good idea. But I think it applies most when we're developing the technology.
Thank you, Jacob.
I agree with that. Like, I think that eventually the technology will be important, and it's good to be talking and thinking about what the big vision is. And if we set our lofty goal way out there and we kind of wind our way towards it, we're actually headed that way instead of not having that conversation and going in some other way and making it really hard to go there in the future if we want to. And I would love the idea of, because it's blockchain and Cardano, we're building out maybe Lego blocks and primitives that will allow any organization or DAO to snap in smart contracts and components to say, do you need a Kiva-like lending model? Here's a set of smart contracts that we've developed. Or if you want this other thing, here's another thing that we've developed. And being able to compose and build stuff on top of it might be a more interesting model than a white label stack that you hand over and allow people to take smaller modules and compose them in the way that makes sense for the organizations. But I think thinking about and talking about the technology is super important, and we should be doing that. But I would yeah, not rush into actually building the stuff out until we know what we need and how things are working at the social and governance layers that we're trying to build out.
So Nori, for the governance, you have some samples, right? Or sites that you can offer.
I can provide some lists to existing Ethereum DAOs and how they do governance and voting and decision making, so that we can definitely use things from that, because they're ahead of Cardano with DAOs and they have working governance models, like all the big Uniswaps and different, the DAO itself and other groups. But yeah, it's really because Cardano doesn't have any of those building blocks yet. We get to decide, but yeah, I think it's good to look at what's already existing.
Okay. So we have to finalize the white paper. So do you have opinions? Did you read the white paper?
Yeah, we have Mert that he wants to say something just before.
Ah, sorry, Matt. Please.
Oh yeah. Well, doing manually I think is a little bit risky application, because on transactions, first of all, we are a blockchain platform, and the manual transaction, we can start with a basic smart contract that does something additional, less work on our plan, but some basic smart smart contracts for making sure of some transactions and some outcomes, because we need consequences for some actions. So we can build at least some basic amount of architecture for the start, and we can make it for special topics, and maybe like, oh, okay, we do beach cleaning, and we collect plastics bottles, someone shooting a video, and just for that specific events we can do a blockchain platform integrated tests. It's actually like for only that type of topic first, but we can eventually increase that number of topics for that type of actions. So for that, we can choose a basic topic for to start on the blockchain systems, because without blockchain platform, I think it is hard to make a impact on the first time. It's hard to make an impact because what are you doing? Well, we are a platform like many other platforms. We are like Kiva, but you are sending your donations with crypto. But okay, but what else? What is DAO? If we cannot show what is DAO, then manual transactions are not really different from Kiva. So that's my opinion.
Thank you, man. Any comments?
I just go back to your slide presentation with the spirals, and I don't think DAO is at the center because we just can't build that today, but maybe it is some kind of simple smart contracts or something to prove it. But yeah, I think it's worth a conversation, because maybe I'm just looking at all the other Cardano Catalyst projects, and they're all struggling with, they have a wallet that somebody controls, but they're a group of people, and now it has $20,000 in it in ADA. And then how do you distribute it? Who controls it? Who's the treasurer? And there's a huge, like almost every project has this human element of somebody sending ADA to people. So it'll be exciting to get to that step where things are either governance token and people vote, or there's multiple people who sign a thing to transfer money. And it's coming, but I don't know of anything that's built yet. So the conversation is, do we want money and start having impact now, or do we want to spend the next 4 or 5 months building out something to properly track it and things like that?
Yeah. And the other issues, I don't really understand why there is an issue on Cardano, that why there is a problem on smart contracts, that is what is the obstacle about fee splitting, or payment splitting contracts, or I don't know, the DAOs, all of them are eventually software programs, are smart contracts, they are code. So it's everywhere, it's the same on everywhere, it's the logic, so logic doesn't go anywhere. So the implementation is not really a big deal. If there is some example on any other network, we can do it exactly the same, because the logic is the same always. I don't really understand the part of, there is ADA, some balance of ADA, and someone has to send this to someone. I think this is really wrong, because there's so many applications about payment splitting, and this is really a basic thing actually on other networks. So I didn't really understand that part. Oh,
Sorry, which
so
part?
multi-signature type of transactions are made with smart contracts too. Well, you can make a wallet too, but without a wallet, you can make multi-signature transactions too. There's meta signatures for that, and all the blockchain systems are supporting it, because the signature is the essential thing on the blockchain network. So on every network, on every smart contract, there is a method for making signatures and decoding these signatures to the signers. So you can make meta transactions and the signatures and make multi-signature methods on every network. That is a must. So I don't really understand what is the obstacle about Cardano on that.
I don't think there's an obstacle. I think it's just smart contracts have only been around since end of September or whenever
Yeah,
that
right.
was.
Yeah. Well, but that's weird. Yeah, because okay, Haskell is hard, but when I see the Plutus and I see that EVM is coming too, and I don't really, and you can write it with Rust too, right? With Rust. I don't know. And yes, maybe that's why maybe I don't understand, because I didn't really try to write the Cardano smart contracts, but really that's the programming issue, and the logic is there and complete. So I think we can do it on a basic layer on the first time. If we can do it, if we can manage a basic shadow of what is DAO, we can do it, I think, with a token and some little methods about voting proposals. They are not really hard, and actually they are so basic on the logic. There is no complex thing, just if it is 50%, more than 50%, and you are deciding the vote power on token holder amount, and you are using a quadratic function for selecting the vote power on holders. So the logic is there. The the logic and implementation is not really hard on that logic because it's simple. So I think we can do a DAO with a basic token and vote proposal smart contract.
Yeah. Do you have the samples on Ethereum site? So you can share it with us and we can check them.
Yeah, of course. Well, there's, you know, if you open Remix right now, the Remix, let me show you. The Remix is an IDE on the web. So it's an IDE on the web you can make. Okay. Okay. So let me open my screen. Oh, my security does not allow it.
And yes,
Let me see. Okay. Okay. Now I think I can.
While he opens it up, I think Simon has something to say, maybe.
Oh,
Yes. I'm not sure. Maybe someone can answer this. Like, what exactly is a DAO? And yeah, I think some of you heard me ask that already. I think the autonomous part refers to autonomous from governments. So I think no one has really done a DAO yet, right?
yeah, actually, the thing is, there are many implementations of of DAO on many projects. The biggest, I think, the well-known implementation of DAO is on Polkadot. If you can go to the site, they are using their holders to choose on website decisions, platform decisions, or everything. But that's not a complete DAO too. That's a centralized group that asks some holders to make a decision, but the proposals are not decentralized. The proposals are coming from the group members of Polkadot, centralized people. But of course, the biggest DAO is Ethereum. The Ethereum itself is a DAO because they're a company, but there is no, you know, I'm a founder of Ethereum. That's, yeah, you can be a founder, but you are not a CEO of Ethereum, or you are not a developer of Ethereum that gets some payments for their actions, and they are not, you know, the Ethereum is a decentralized organization, and there is no need for a centralized leader for Ethereum. They are making their own proposals. Everybody can make a proposal, and proposals are voting on to be on platform, or to make it to develop that proposal for the platform for Ethereum, or make it a standard. So the EIPs are for them, for that, the EIPs. And the EIPs are becoming ERC standards after the acceptance of the proposals. And everything came that way. So like this fundraising, Cardano crystal thing, or the other things are part of the DAO too. So we are making a proposal someone's are somebody saying this, voting or selecting the the ideas are decentralized and everybody can make their ideas on everywhere. Just the value of the ideas are important, not the people. Actually, you are not a owner on Ethereum. Everybody is the owner. If you are on the network, you have a value.
Well, if you make a proposal, aren't you the owner of that proposal?
Sorry?
If you make a proposal, aren't you the owner of that proposal, of that specific proposal?
Yeah.
That-
Yeah. You are owner of the proposal, but you're not the owner of Ethereum. Because you are the proposal owner, but everybody is, do you know how Ethereum got emerged, got created?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same as Bitcoin or ADA, right? Like it's a protocol, and the government obviously can't go to the protocol and arrest it. It would
Yeah,
have to go to an organization.
Vitalik Buterin wrote a white paper, and he had nobody from that time on developer side. He was just writing about Ethereum, and there can be a protocol. We can do it. I think this is a solution. And some developers really liked the idea, and everybody, everybody came and they made a community that is decentralized on every place of world, any place of world. They became a society and they built the Ethereum. But
Yeah,
I mean, that's a little naive story. That's not how it happened precisely. I mean,
Yeah,
Vitalik
exactly.
Buterin was already writing a lot about Bitcoin and had done a lot of commits in the GitHub for Bitcoin. So he was already a known personality when he was writing on Ethereum. And it was not some random developers that joined Ethereum. It was Dr. Gavin Wood. I mean, Solidity was developed mainly by him. And that's what gave Ethereum the power to become what it is today. So it's not like this community of self-organizing people got together and created this utopia.
Yeah.
well, actually,
but
there was
the-
a society, but yeah.
But one question, I think we are already a DAO, to be honest. I mean, we were just not, okay, so we're already, people coming together from different places, trying to, so we're already kind of a DAO, right? I mean, but we are not defined as a DAO. There's no protocol, there's no technology, there's nothing. There's just people coming together with the objective to create something, right? And I mean, so that's kind of it. Then even the way you describe Ethereum, okay, although there's different stories, but that's a DAO. Now we need to start building the governance, the relationship in the DAO, write them down, and start going forward.
Shared a
But
link
we are a DAO.
to a presentation given at Gimel Labs, and
Yeah.
if you look at slide number 8, they kind of have this kind of phase transition to a Cardano DAO. I found this really interesting to at least have a common vocabulary. Like Cardano for Climate right now is a level 1 DAO, and we're trying to move to level 2. And Littlefish, we're trying to talk about like level 5 stuff or level 6, like eventually. And so I think it's useful to have some kind of breakdown here so we all agree, like when we're talking about a DAO, this is what we're talking about as far as people, ownership, treasury, external governance, internal governance, tools, tokenomics, and the work streams. And then how each one adds little capability as you get more and more mature. And then like in my mind, level 5 is what I think of as DAO, right? And that's why when I say Cardano has no DAOs, it's because we're all level 1 or 2 right now. And we don't have the building blocks to do some of this other thing around ownership, tokenomics, and other things. And there's a slide later on, like I think it's slide 11. It talks about we should be focusing on the green stuff, and hopefully people are working on the blue and the purple. Like we shouldn't build any of that because that's not our specialty and that's not where we're going to add value. We shouldn't be thinking about what's the DEX and what's the protocols and how does the treasury work and decentralized identity and smart contracts. This stuff should be built and provided as a stack of tools. And we should be thinking, like my thinking is we should be thinking in the green zone and where we can add value. And once the Cardano ecosystem catches up and these blue and purple are available, we use them. But we shouldn't be building them because I don't know if that's Cardano for Climate or Littlefish's kind of mandate is to build these tools up.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Nuri. So, shall we proceed to the social aspects? And do you have comments about social aspects? Nuri, especially, I'm asking to you. How can we separate Littlefish? What should be our duties? If we can do separation, so we can work on the different things, and that would be better.
Mm-hmm. Well, even if you look at the Cardano DAO chart, like level 1, some of the things you need to have in place is how do you come up with proposals and how do you vote on them? And like I says, that doesn't have to be done on chain. It can be done very simply, but you need some kind of social mechanism to say, here's an idea of how to spend some treasury money. Here's how we vote. Who gets to vote? Is it quadratic voting? Is it plutocratic? Is it each person gets one vote? All those things need to be discussed and tested before we put it on chain. Like, because we could change, we can go, oh, this doesn't work. We should go plutocratic, but add quadratic stuff so that the more tokens you hold, the more voting power, because we think that's more important for these reasons. Or we can say it's a pure democracy, one person, one vote. Community gets to decide, or those experiments and discussions need to happen. And so, then
sorry.
And yeah, so it's really, that's why I come back to like, it's the people level and the kind of relationships and the decision making that we need to figure out, like, and all agree on, or at least experiment and see if it works. And then if it doesn't, we can talk about it and change.
Yeah, I'm offering to open 2 channels as proposals and votes to Discord channel. Okay, so we can share our ideas inside the weekend. We can talk about it next week. So everyone have a clue about that. So Yoram says learn by doing. So what further steps, Yoram, shall we proceed about making the donations and getting the proposals?
Yeah, the idea is to kind of just agree, at least in general terms, about the vision and mission, I think. And then if we agree on that, the next step is we're saying, okay, let's open a wallet, a centralized wallet managed by EGM. And then start building kind of a little bit the procedures. Each one can, let's say, the idea was to start making monthly cycles, where each one give any amount he wants, and then each member basically that give also can suggest some projects he's interested in, and we start building the format how to present a project to the community and how to present the traceability and the follow-up on the money, and then we vote and we decide if we want to give it to one project or to multiple projects, and then basically give. And we start small, and so by doing it, I think we can discuss between us all these different points that you just mentioned, and kind of start having an initial framework. And in the following months when we do it, we are developing it a little bit more, and then in the third month we kind of build the first kind of model that we all agree on. That's kind of the idea, and if it makes sense to everyone.
I think that makes a lot of sense, Yoram. But we should really make it concrete at this point. Set some targets for ourselves. If we're saying 1 month cycles, let's put a date on it and say, okay, let's do a donation by this date and get it done by then. So I think maybe we could set that date even today. That would be,
Do it.
Why not? Let's do it.
so how long do you reckon we need?
What we need to do, we need to communicate it to everyone that want to join. So we need to create kind of a small just text and then share it with people. And then kind of have initial page of procedures, right? I mean, who can recommend what type of projects? Maybe we recommend 3 projects to start with in the first month. So 3 people or whoever wants, I mean, can recommend a project. And
Maybe
then,
we can request it from the community. What do you think?
Yeah, or we can support projects from the community. Yeah, I mean, definitely. Can be something that already we know and we trust. And we do kind of a simple vote. Then we vote and we just do it. So I think, considering Christmas and so on, I would suggest if we do it just before the conference. I mean, I will do it for the 10th of January. Potentially that we can even present it in the conference if we are doing on the 13th as an activity. I don't know. I'm just like this, but anyone thinks otherwise. It will just give us 2-3 weeks to. I'm not taking much vacation in the next day, so I can work on it if someone wants. Kind of prepare the first draft and page, get everyone approval.
Okay.
And I mean, yeah, and I don't know, 10th of January. I don't know if it's a good date. Melanie will come with a Fibonacci date if she's here, but I don't know.
Yeah, let me.
10/01.
By
22.
By the 10th, we need to have the projects from the community, and then we have to have a vote on it.
I think on the 10th
And
we have
then-
to have a vote. So let's say by the 1st of January, we need to have kind of a 1-pager that explains the first phase and
Okay.
3 projects. I'm just inventing now. 3 projects and a wallet. And a wallet ready to send the money to. And then we share this with everyone that wants, and we tell them until the 7th, send the money. And then on the 10th, we vote. I'm just inventing now, so I don't know if anyone has something else to say. So I'm just giving something that looks reasonable. So
I think that is reasonable, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
and that will give us the first cycle concrete, and then we can learn a lot. So by doing that already, we learn a lot.
Yeah.
And then second cycle will be already more knowledgeable, and we can present it if we have just in the beginning of January, if we have a meetup, if we have the first meeting of the year, we can invite a lot of people to come and see and present to them the model and see who wants to join with 5 ADAs, 10 ADAs, 50 ADAs, 100 ADAs, whatever you want, and participate in the first cycle.
So
That's good.
one thing I think we should do in the first cycle is limit the amount of donations. Maybe the
Okay.
total amount of donations should be limited, so we don't mess anything up. Let's just
Yeah.
start small. Do something Littlefish would do.
Good idea.
Yeah.
So how much do you think would that be? Like,
1,000 ADA cap.
so 1,000 ADA total.
Yeah.
Perfect.
By the way, I picked this up for the group the other day.
Yeah, thanks.
So Littlefish has a ADA handle that we can tie to.
Ah, great. Thank you, Nuri.
You're welcome. Just tell me
Nice.
which wallet to send it to, and I will do that.
Okay.
Amazing.
Okay. Let's create our wallet, and I will send it to you.
Yeah, I mean, that will be very exciting to do the first cycle. And actually, yeah, it will be, we can say based on the amount of people that want to register, then we can say
Mhm.
also the amount. We'll try to get 50 it will be 20 ADAs for each, or if more want to register, so then it will be a nice first cycle.
Okay, just to recap, so we want a one-pager by New Year's explaining the process to everyone. And by this point, we also want to have the projects to vote on. And
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
And for about 10 days, we have discussions going on about the projects, maybe have some presentations on the projects. And on the 10th, we're having the vote, or maybe by the 10th. By the 10th, we'll have the vote concluded.
Yeah.
And we can have
Did we say
donation.
we have 3 projects or 3 or more?
Sorry?
We want to put a cap on the projects as well? On the number of projects, or just say however many we can manage?
I will start for the first one. My suggestion is to say 3, but anyway, I'm anyway open. If people want to come with ideas for projects,
I mean,
I think
you
it-
mean three.
yeah,
You mean
sorry,
three
sorry.
projects chosen, right? So if people submit 20 projects, we are just gonna choose 3, or just 3 projects overall.
We can vote them.
So we could have all of them, but it would make it very difficult to process in 10 days, maybe. I'm not sure. Maybe we just do the first 5 that we get. I don't know.
Yeah, and then we vote on 1, or we vote on 2, or 3, or we vote on 1. Normally, the money will go to 1 originally, or. I mean, this
I
is all
think with
questions that we
1,000
want to answer, right? When we do the process.
Yeah.
So
With
it's
the
good.
$1,000, we should maybe just choose 1, because otherwise there's not
Yeah.
much impact. I'm
Perfect.
gonna make a proposal to
So
further
for the
not
first,
drive
yeah.
and throw
So
away
for
my
this
garbage
first,
in the
yeah,
bag.
I agree. Makes sense. So for the first one, we propose few, so just few ones, and then we vote on one of them. And each person that propose one have to say, it can be from the community maybe, and he can say why he proposed this one, and we need to build a simple form to why you propose this one, and now we are going to trace it and provide the traceability for the community, something like that. Like maybe you know the project, and then you're going to take a picture of what happened, or just something like that. Or you are going, or you know the owner, or you I mean, whatever. Or we can trace the money trail, or just what would be the traceability of that.
Mhm.
And we build the first cycle, and we learn from that, and then the second one.
Yeah, that was I meant. That's what I meant. I mean, we can make an proposal and voting smart contract for the first time with a token. That's with a token, because without a token, I think that's a little empty for the crypto community, you know. And for voting, there's so many options, and there are so many easy options for the smart contracts too, because and for the, you know, for who gets the money or where will be the money thing is, there's easy solutions for that too. For example, if that was on Ethereum, I could make a method for, you know, we can make a signature that lasts for 20 seconds, 20 minutes, or 20 days, how much you want. And we can make a signature, you know, we can collect our we can collect our signatures for a transaction to make our, you know, to say that I accept this transaction. And we can collect every member's signatures, and make the transactions with that. But that is for 10 or 20 people. That's not the whole community's vote. That's the it's for us. Where should money go? Think.
Could we have a smart contract working by the 10th to do this? Would
Yeah,
it be possible?
actually, it's like lazy minting or using any meta transaction. That's just you are using multiple signatures. If you use one signature for that, you are making a meta transaction for one person. If you are using 10 signatures for one transaction, and you are not actually signing just a transaction, that means if you sign just a transaction and use it as a signature, you can use that signature everywhere. You can make that transaction with that signature, because the blockchain network works like that. But we are signing actually another object with timestamp, and if you sign a transaction or transaction like object with a timestamp, and then on our smart contract, the smart contract is going to check the timestamp to making sure that the signature is on the how I say this, is on the right time, on the right interval, and then smart contract can execute that transaction after making sure that the signature is unique and this signature is created for this transaction and this time. So then it's get executed. We can of course make this type of method.
Yeah, but can we build it in very quickly in 10 days and trust it? And can we do it on Cardano? Or is it just a little too tight for us?
On Cardano, as I said, I don't have real experience on Cardano, but on Ethereum, I can make it in 1 day. So I just don't have experience on Cardano smart contracts.
So should we do it on Ethereum, maybe with our own contracts? What do you guys think?
I think we should first of all handle the donation cycle and get the results and have some training. After that, we can write it. But regarding the tokenomics and smart contract, I offer you to have a breakout room for the next meeting so we can talk there after the general meeting.
Of course.
Is it okay for you? So we in this case, we will get disrupted and we can continue.
Yep.
Bert has a good point. Like another option is to say, since Cardano is not ready, let's look at Ethereum and use something like Aragorn or DAO Stack or something to launch a DAO and run it there until Cardano is ready, and then use the ERC converter and move everything to the Cardano side later.
Yeah.
That's also possible.
That's a solution. Yeah. No, with Ethereum, not the main Ethereum network, but EVM compatible chains, the transactions are really cheap and the transactions are fast, and they have so many communities. And then we can use Polygon. Aragon is a layer 2 solution, I think. Yeah. Aragon is pretty good, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
We can
make a wrapped token there, so we can use it in Cardano also.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a solution.
Okay, I'd like to go over this one more time so we're all on the same page. So our, let's say, short-term goals are to have a one pager by New Year's, explaining what we're doing and opening up for proposals. And then we're going to get some proposals from the community. I don't think we reached a set limit, but we'll select one out of them by voting on the 10th. And we'll have a cap limit of 1,000 ADA for the first donation. And we also need to have some form of application by the New Year's for our proposers. So we can just set up something like a Google form. That would do it probably. Anything I'm missing from short-term goals?
No.
Okay.
So the sixth topic, project management tool. Do you have any offers for project management tools? In our company, we use Jira and Confluence, but it's limited up to 10 people.
Yeah, let's not use Jira.
Yeah.
I think anyone who uses Jira doesn't want to use Jira.
A lot of other projects are using GitHub because it does have issues and a Jira-like board, and it's free and extensible to everybody. And most people here probably have a GitHub account already.
Yeah, we can make an organization account on GitHub. They are pretty good right now.
Yeah, it's ready. I can add you all to the organization if you can share GitHub usernames with me.
Yeah, sounds good.
And every week our meetings must be moderated. So who is willing to do that? The moderation part.
And I can do the moderation part if I don't have to put the documentation part there.
No, not the documentation. Okay, great. And the subgroups. Next week we can open a breakout room and also a subgroup for talking about the smart contracts and DAOs, the infrastructure. And do you have any offerings for opening subgroups?
When?
Maybe we can keep them very broad at this point. So like social and technical, and probably that's okay for now.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's all for the agenda. Would you like to add anything? I will open the GitHub accounts. I will add the accounts to the GitHub organization.
That's good.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah,
One step at a time.
Yeah. No. Thank you very much. Very exciting. Incredible. And thanks for the presentation in the beginning also. It's kind of brought us also. Thank you very much for that. But it's very exciting. Really great to work on that with all of you.
Thank you. Thank you to all of you. So we will have the Discord channels and GitHub, and we can talk about the things that we talk here. And thank you very much.
Chakan, one thing. Chakan, can you put please the summary into the white paper, the first page maybe? You can write meeting number 1. Can we just put it there? So we know that we had a meeting and this is a summary of the meeting.
Yeah, okay. The things I've listed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will let them.
Because it was official meeting. And sorry,
We can also put them in GitHub, and we can open YouTube channel, and we can put this to YouTube. So everything will be open source.
Perfect. But the white paper is something we put, but I will not get back to that anymore, I think. But okay. Okay.
Okay. See you guys.
See you. Bye-bye.
See you, everyone.
Thanks,
See you
everybody.
next week. Bye bye.
Thank you very
Bye-bye.
much.
Not next week.
Yeah. Have a
See you.
great holiday.
Have a great holiday.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a great holiday.
Chakan,
Yes.
Chakan, one thing. You're going to work with me on the white paper? On
Yeah,
the
sure.
one pager?
Sure. When?
Yeah.
When we're working.
And Jem. I mean, I'm.
Yeah, sure, sure.
Let's
Uh,
get. Yeah.
You want to
Yeah,
do it now?
what do we call it?
We call
No.
it. We call it. How can we? What we call it? We call it. Littlefish first donations cycle. Let's call it the way it is, right? Littlefish.
Yeah.
Let's say Littlefish iteration 0. So it's loop 1.
Yeah.
So we're technical people. I0. People, technical guys.
Yeah, but I will say, I mean,
It's
for
fun.
not technical people, I mean, just this say iteration 0 donation process or donation first donation, something
Okay,
like
yeah.
that. Because this is what it is. I'm sorry, but if you tell me iteration 0, I'm not technical.
Yeah, I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
I'm sorry, I will come in 2 minutes, okay?
Okay, sure. Good. So that will be 0. Mehmet, what a smile you have, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm too tired or I just can't stop smiling.
That's good.
Yeah.
This is
Maybe
my
that-
4th meeting today, Yoram.
Yeah.
It's too much for me.
I'm also. Yeah. So let's call it a day, and maybe we talk tomorrow.
Now we can discuss it a little bit, but writing it probably like I probably can't write it today. But tomorrow I only have 1 meeting, which is very nice. My life has changed so much in the past month. I used to have no meetings. It was so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell me about it.
So
I'm
you
like-
say that
Okay.
the meeting with us are not nice. This is what you say.
No, that's not what I mean. I'm sorry. Like I'm a developer. I like being alone. I like looking at my code.
Yeah. I'm
Uh,
like,
I
But it's nice.
I need actually to jump to another call of 3. Okay. I still. What time is it now for you?
It's 11:30.
11:30. Wow. Okay.
Yes,
It's very late.
but I'm okay. I sleep at 2 a.m. now, just so I can have more energy in these meetings. I used to wake up at like 6, 7. Now I wake up around 10.
Okay. You go to sleep late. I woke up today at 4:30 in the morning, and for me now it's
4:30,
9:30.
wow.
I just woke up. I mean, I woke up and I couldn't sleep.
wow.
But maybe we meet tomorrow same time, so we are fresh. We think a little bit about it, and we just nail it.
Yeah, that works. That works
Okay.
for sure.
So tomorrow at 8 p.m., 10 p.m.
Mhm.
your time, basically it's 8 p.m. my time.
Okay.
I don't have your. You have my email address. If you can send. How do you want to circle? This is my email address. If you want.
Do you want me to send you the goals that I wrote down? I only took them with a pen and paper,
Yeah, we can.
but I can write them
anyway-
down in an email. That's fine.
And anyway, we need to have them in the GitHub or something, right?
Yeah. Did Simon take notes on the meeting? I think he did. Maybe put that on GitHub.
Okay,
I'll ask him.
ask him, please. Perfect. So let's do tomorrow Let's have a break and do tomorrow at 10 p.m. for you, 8 p.m. for me.
Okay, yeah, that works.
Yep.
Okay. Good, Meredith.
really
Nice
well.
seeing you. Say thank you to Jim.
You will do.
Yes. Ne yapıyorsun abi?
Hı? Biraz şey yazdım. Taka tuka sesler geliyor galiba.
Türkçe konuşmak garip.
Değil mi? Context switch geliyor bir anda öyle.
Abi sorma. Aynı anda şu an 4 organizasyonla konuşuyoruz.